Started. Water and Wastewater Committee meeting, February. First thing on the agenda is the leak adjustments for review for January.
David, I'm gonna need somebody to add 502 Pinnacle. It wasn't late or any of that. We accidentally did not attach it to the leak adjustment. So
Really?
we can get them over. And then we'll, handle it.
All right, I would entertain a motion to add this.
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion, we have a second.
A second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. 502 Pinnacle Drive has been added to the monthly leak adjustment report. I read through those, it looks like everything's in order on them. I guess everybody had paperwork.
I got a question about the hospital, though. Do we not have limits on what we do, or is it limit?
50% is our policy.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that was a pretty big one.
Yeah.
What,
I called and spoke with the engineer about that because it looked, they had ordered the parts in July. And I said, this bill's from recent though. And he said, what happened is we ordered the parts, put it on, it ended up, it broke when the part wasn't good, so they had to order another one. It took them forever to get it. So I told him we could only adjust the most highest bill, and that was it, so. I'm not showing those prices back, so.
Wow.
Is that the most recent one after the
Yes, that
second?
was the highest.
Okay.
Or maybe they can talk to that company that provided the part,
Right?
get them to pay a little bit.
Yeah.
so we need a motion to approve? I guess I'll make a motion to approve January leak adjustment.
Have a second? I'll second. All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, passed. Approval of the minutes from the January meeting. I thought they looked good, I wasn't here, so.
You and I can't vote on it.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Got a motion, I have a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, financial report.
We ended up the year pretty good, 159 days in water, finally in the positive, into meter money, and 151 days in wastewater. Quite a bit in the infrastructure fee fund. Remember that only goes to pay off debt, so Joy will hopefully use that for quarter 1 or 2 debt payments. Other than that, yeah, it is up in the meter.
Make a motion, we approve them, I guess, as submitted.
Okay. We have a second.
I'll second it.
We got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Oh, maybe not.
Public comments. Do we have any public comments tonight? Okay. I don't see anything under old business. New business.
Well, maybe since we discussed it last week, it would be okay. I'm just asking. I saw the first thing we talked about was the apartment situation that we were going to request. Have you had any pushback, or have you had good?
So we told you we'd write the deposit letter and bring it back to you guys.
Oh, okay, you haven't done that yet.
It's in there, we're discussed still under new business.
Sorry, go ahead.
All right. Brian, strategic plan.
We've been graced by the mayor's presence.
I saw that. It's nice and shiny and colorful.
Well, thank you for some time tonight. I promise I won't speak very long. When I'm meeting, taking the tour with all the different committees and commissions, and kind of talk a little bit about of what we're working on as a strategic plan. Now, this is going to date us that know what I'm talking about. If young people watching this, I know they're going to be too. But one of the, I was thinking about it this way. I remember when I was old enough to start visiting other churches with my friends, and I realized every church had a different hymnal. Before that, I thought everybody. So I thought that might. What I hope we can do is maybe we're all kind of singing from the same hymnal, right? And so the last 9 months, what I've tried to do is went on a listening tour, and then also just continue to listen and what everybody's kind of saying, right? Obviously, I have my opinions about priorities, but I really tried to bring together what everybody's sees. Nothing in here is going to surprise anybody about what we need to do in the city of Bryant, but it's kind of that idea. If we can all sing from the same hymnal the next couple of years, would make some real progress. And there's 4 areas there. First, vision. We're talking about where we're headed, long-term vision. We've got a cash reserve policy. I like to tell a story about having lunch with Mayor Halley, and I asked him about their cash reserve policy when he was mayor. And he said, Chris, we didn't have any cash reserves. What are you talking about? But it hit me like there's this mentality that I have, I think we all have, look, it's always been this way, and it'll always be this way. So what we're trying to do is start to think about what it's going to be. And this kind of takes what we've already done a great job, council and former mayors and staff have all done a great job of building up these cash reserves. We kind of want to give it a direction. Not going to be a surprise to any of you that we need to update our comprehensive growth and land use plan, specifically talking about annexation, what's our strategy there, what's our plan there, working with the county in our ETJ, that 1 mile outside our city limits, where a lot of the growth is coming, right? In the school district, but not in the city. Some of those places are on our sewer, right? So what are we doing about it? What's the plan for that? Instead of just being reactionary to every new development that's coming, really have a plan moving forward. And then, obviously, water, wastewater infrastructure. I do want to say to you, you guys have been doing so much of the heavy lifting, and we see it. A lot of big decisions, the water meter, right? That was huge. So thank you. That's not easy, especially when you got to make tough decisions. And you guys have really stepped up. I think this committee has really shown the power of working together, residents having input, and coming together to give council, city council recommendations. It's so helpful. So thank you for that. You've done a really great job, and we're going to continue to call on you as we get the wastewater master plan. I also want to just say thanks to Tim, Mariah, Bryce, the whole team. People that may not know what's going on in the state, that there's a lot of cities in crisis, and the state of Arkansas as a whole is really I'm troubled, but is aware of this need for investment in infrastructure. And you'll hear water's the new gold. I've heard over and over when I'm at statewide, and you guys have put our city in a great place. And the generations to come are going to owe you a huge thank you for securing the water future. It's a huge deal. It's going to become even bigger. So I just want to say thank you for all the hard work you've done to setting a future that's strong. That we have a plan, and we're going to be able to fund that plan to secure that for Bryant's future. That's a huge deal. And in a lot of ways, as I've watched you guys, I've tried to pattern some of our plans around what you've been able to do, taking on really difficult decisions, talking about it publicly, so anybody can come back and watch these meetings and say, oh, that's why they did what they did. And then saying, okay, city council, we vetted this, here's what we think. I think it's extremely helpful. And so anyway, thank you for that. I'm sure a future mayor will take credit for all your hard work. I would never do that. Even though Tim likes to remind me, my name's on that bridge, that had nothing to do with it. All right, second, leadership. Look, we're trying to be very intentional with how we lead, in the sense of we want people in Bryant to know the why. You guys know we can't please everybody. So we got to make tough decisions. We got to make decisions that we think are the right decisions. We want to make sure people know why we're doing what we're doing. And communication, we've got to be intentional and not give up. Right? It doesn't really matter how much we communicate. There's always going to be people that say we didn't know, but we just want that to be as small as possible. And so you'll see all of this is trying to make sure people have an opportunity if they want to. I mean, it's going to be in their email, right? If you want to open it and read it, it's or you can ignore it. On social media, on the website, texts, whatever we can do to make sure everybody can get a snapshot. The mayor's memorandum is going to give a monthly snapshot of what's happening throughout the city. Council wrap-up videos, short videos, so people can see, all right, this is what decisions were made. And if they want to watch the whole thing, they can click that link. We've got a lot of educational videos planned, trying to kind of take what we used to do with Bryant 101 and send it out so people can, it'll live on our YouTube page. Anybody that wants to kind of be educated about our city and what's going on can do that. And then surveys. We've had a lot of good feedback from our water survey and our budget survey this year. So we want to try to continue that. And so the thing I'd ask is spread the word. You got people know you serve on this committee. They're going to ask you questions. Say, are you on the email list for the city? Email the mayor, right? Seriously, if people want to know, if they have questions, if they have misinformation, just say, look, email the mayor. Get on this email list. We're wide open. We'll answer any question. We'll meet with anybody. We want people to be in the loop. Third, problem solving. I'm going to be asking council to create a committee to look into 3 major funding issues. Stormwater utility. We need our stormwater utility to be standalone. Street funding. We all know there's major street projects need to happen, Spring Hill, Hilltop, Hilldale, and many more. And then police and fire pension fund, we need to make sure we're ready for the retirements that are probably coming. And so I'll be asking, Councilmember Meyer has agreed to chair that committee. I'm really grateful for her doing that. It's going to be a lot of work. I expect the committee to meet probably once a month, if not more, for a year. And again, patterning what you guys have done, right? We'll take these issues, the staff will present a plan. This is our plan, and we want it vetted. We want to make sure it makes sense and everybody knows about the plan, and then it goes to council, and council can approve it or not. But at the very least, we're presenting a plan. Like, we know these things have to be dealt with, and here's a plan we have. And usually, what I've seen is those plans get better when we take the time to publicly talk about it and get feedback. It ends up being better in the long run. Again, we want people to know why we're doing what we're doing. And then finally, economic development. Working very closely with the Chamber of Commerce and Saline County Economic Development Commission. As you probably know, hope you know, we've been talking about potential entertainment venue in the city. That's something Thursday night we will be presenting kind of the newest part of that. Some plans have changed. I'm still very excited about the potential of that. So you'll get a lot of information. This is an economic development project that the business communities behind, the chambers and the city are working closely together on. And I hope ultimately the people get to choose whether they want to extend, reallocate that existing bond half-cent tax for that project. Ultimately, hey, you want to do this? We think it's a good idea, but the people get to decide. That's obviously the biggest kind of economic development project on our radar, on the horizon right now. And then finally, Bless Bryant. We did this in Ward 3, kind of a pilot program last year. We're doing this citywide. We're partnering with Family Life Ministries and Bryant High School Student Senate, the city, Family Life, and Bryant High School Student Senate. We're going to be working with nonprofits that serve in our city in all of the month of September. We're going to connect volunteers to nonprofits and projects they're working with. So we're going to have a luncheon at the end of this month. We'll be inviting some of you and folks that want to be part of that, different leaders, church leaders, basically a way to continue this spirit that we have in Bryant of service, right, of working together. That's when we're the best, when we're working together to serve others. I was thinking today about the best conversations I don't remember having a whole lot of great conversations with my dad over coffee, but a lot of great conversations with my dad hanging sheetrock. I don't know what it is, but you're just working side by side, doing something, you just start to get to know each other, and that's kind of what we're hoping with the younger generation and the city and Family Life all working together to serve. So be on the lookout for that. All right, that was quick. If you've got that, if you want to read that, if you've got questions, comments, concerns. Again, if you want to delve deeper in any of these things, just holler. I'd love to field any questions. And if you've got residents, friends, whoever that would like to hear more, I'm going to do my best to meet with as many people as possible to kind of make sure we're all, again, trying to sing from the same hymnal. That's the goal.
Well, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Look at the deposit letter.
Yes, sir. So if you remember last month, we mentioned that there are several complexes located in Bryant that do not keep the deposit on hand. So when somebody moves out, the water changes their name, but they're still on deposit on hand. We require it for everybody, so there's no exception. So we are going to start collecting those deposits, and this is the letter that was drafted by the city attorney, so it's been vetted. We can change the date on it if you guys would like. March 1st is too soon, thanks. But this is what we will be saying.
My personal opinion is maybe March 1st is a little too soon. Yeah, let's maybe give them at least till April.
Will this have to be approved by the council as well before you send it out? So it's just what we're going to send out?
I can certainly put it in front of the council if you choose. It's already wrote in ordinance. So,
Oh, it is? Okay. Well, as long as they're aware of it, because probably, I was going to say that's where they'll complain first to people, but no, they'll probably come to us first.
I
I
can
guess.
certainly add it to the agenda for the end of this month.
Well, other than just making sure they're aware that we're going to do this, I think is the big thing. I don't think it's something they need to, if you don't think they need to approve it, then it's not necessary, but
No,
just make
it's-
sure they know what it is.
Sure. It can be good for information. You're right.
So so the original person who had the apartment then paid the deposit, but it just keeps rolling over? Is that what's?
What has happened is, and Lee can step in and correct me, over time, and this is long before anybody in this room, so I can't explain how it happened. There was supposedly a bond that covered all the deposits for these apartments in multiple dwelling places. Well, we had our city clerk, Angela, Bryce, Mariah, all dig in. We can't find the existence of a bond anywhere, and even if there was a bond, it's got a timeline on it, it's got a dollar amount set there, you should be able to find it relatively easy. So, whether there wasn't or isn't, whether it was or wasn't, is kind of irrelevant at this point. We need to be uniformed in how we collect and what we require.
How many apartments are in question? How many?
Just about all of them.
Around Lindsay's alone, there's around 600, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, I think since we're in the first week of March, I think April 1st would probably be a more, less painful option. But if the ordinance says everybody has to pay a deposit, I think that. So my question, did anybody get paid when they left? Did they get their deposit back?
If the customer owes us a bill, we take their final bill out of their deposit. If there's money left, we will issue a check to them. The apartments, I'll just use them, the Greens as for instance, they always want it back in their name. In order for us to do that, we really need to hold a deposit on file because we do require our landlords to do that.
So you're saying the property owner wants it back in their name?
Yes, we require a deposit to be held on file.
Every time one of the tenants leaves, the apartments wanted to put it back in their name so that the water stays on, so they can clean.
So they can clean.
Are we charging them a deposit every time that somebody moves out?
No, that's
That's what we're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, so this deposit will basically, we'll keep it.
And
And,
then if they
okay,
ever sell out to another company or whoever, then we will refund all their deposits.
Okay.
And then
I'm
the-
just trying to catch up.
Yeah.
I apologize, I was out last month, so.
but the new tenant moving in will still do their deposit and everything like normal. This is just covering whenever the apartment is vacant.
Correct.
There's not a back and forth of checks and things.
It just automatically goes back into it, and there's no disconnection of water. And a majority of our landlords in Bryant want it that way. Because like winter time, they don't want their water shut off, and the
Yeah.
tenant just ups and leaves overnight.
Yeah.
So they hold deposits on file for that reason.
Okay.
There's
Thank
not
you.
any issues with tenants not contacting you that they're leaving and, when the dates are. This won't really affect that, really.
I'll give you a scenario. Today, we made them shut off water we haven't got shut off water because of the freezing temps. So we sent out, we're doing them now. And we had a customer that owed us over $500. So we go to shut the water off today. We get an email from this
Customer?
apartment
Oh.
and said, "Oh, can you turn the water back on over here? We need to clean."
Okay.
So they knew the whole time that the tenant wasn't paying.
Mhm.
And we just used, I guess, using no water because we shut the water off and they was aware. So we got stiff $500 and
Just saying,
had to go back in there. Yeah, it'll go to collections, but
But doesn't it follow where they go to the next address?
if it goes
Did
to
it one time,
collections, it does, when it goes to collections, it will, but
I'm gonna make a random assumption that somebody who doesn't pay their bills religiously probably doesn't do it reporting accurately.
So when you issue this letter, when you issue the letter, are the landowners or land managers going to come raise Cain with us, or are they going to raise Cain with city council? Okay.
all the
All the above.
All the above?
You
Start with
first.
Angela and get
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah, okay.
But
I'll take the call.
Like I say,
it's rotating ordinance. And
But yeah, I mean-
We have to be
They can
effective, and-
raise all the cane they want, but it's,
Yeah.
it still needs to happen.
And it's the right thing to do. We shouldn't be turning water onto somebody who doesn't have the positive file.
Yeah.
Well, like Tim said, it's a very inconsistent thing, because we have a lot of property managers that have deposits on file, and then we have a lot of property managers that don't want to have deposits on file. So this kind of makes it consistent across the board, where everybody has a deposit on file if they want water put back in their name.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see any issue with it at all.
I don't have an issue with it, but the only thing I see, to me, it doesn't make it clear in the letter that the apartment owners are gonna have to pay this fee for every unit. It says effective immediately, each unit in your apartment complex will require a water deposit. But I mean, it may be in here, but I haven't, because I've scanned over it, but it doesn't say, and you have to pay this, or whatever wording, they want to use. It just, and their thought may be, well, they pay it whenever they get their water. So I don't know if it's clear that it says who we're requesting this deposit from.
Is this letter going just to the manager or to each person in the apartment complex?
There's the manager.
Yeah.
That's the only ones we're
Just
requiring.
the parent.
Okay, okay.
And if they have a corporate office, we'll send it corporate too.
And it may be sufficient, I don't know, but you might want to ask attorneys if we need to add anything along that line.
That's why we brought it. And I'll get it on the agenda for this month's council, so taking a heads up also.
You need anything from us?
No, as long as it's,
Okay.
Okay. We don't have to approve it or anything like that, we just know that we're going to do this, correct? Okay.
All right, Highway 5 relocation project.
So I just wanted to update you guys. We actually, the deadline for submittal to Highway 5 through the engineering firm we're using was actually December. They extended it for us because there's a 6-inch line on Highway 5 that is debatable if we own it, not if we own it, if it's reimbursable. So the way it works, if it doesn't fall within there right away now, and they move it right away, and we have to move our infrastructure, we get reimbursed for it. Obviously, the other way it doesn't work. But the 6-inch line was originally built for the state and given to Brian, so Jennifer with Brian Engineering went as far back as contacting the University of Arkansas and got all sorts of documentation about this line, and we, of course, very much feel like we should be reimbursed when it has to be moved. So that was the delay. We got an extension because of it, but then we had to submit our preliminary estimate. So at council last month, it hit before we met you guys. So at council last month, you'll see the construction cost of 2.5 million, preliminary engineering of 300,000, 933, and easement acquisition of 1.4 million. Just from 1.5. Last month, all we did was ask for permission for the preliminary engineering, which is the $300,933. When we did the 2025 budget, we had put 50,000 in water and 50,000 in wastewater, basically as placeholders, $100,000 total until we got the preliminary engineering. So we got approval from council last month to move forward with this through a budget adjustment. So the budget adjustment is actually only $200,933. So that's where we're at right now. We're just in preliminary engineering stages. As we move forward, we'll talk about construction and easement acquisition, construction, after the bids, so there'll be a process there, so. I just wanted to let you guys know that's where we are with that right now. And it does say in here that we submitted an eligibility ratio of 84.5%, which, again, we did great. I would imagine there'll be some banter back and forth, but that'll be pretty good. I mean, we'll recover almost 85% of the cost of these 3 totals, so we wouldn't be out of pocket that much.
No action from us, you're just keeping us in the loop on what's going on.
Open
Okay.
and transparent.
What about the Woodland Hills contract?
we've brought this to you guys before, but our current agreement with Woodland Hills does expire in August. We need to get a new one on the books. We did not change anything. We've sent it to CAW for their approval, since technically we don't, obviously don't make any money off Woodland Hills, it's a straight pass through. The only thing that we really changed is you renew every 3 years to depend on Saline Regional and see kind of what happens, so we don't have to come back in 20 years. We'll renew it every 3, but other than that, really nothing's changed.
So it's gonna be just every 3 years rather than the way it was originally?
Yes, ma'am, yeah, at least until Saline Regional, we'll have to have a new contract for Saline Regional anyway, so.
Makes sense.
Because their water will pass through ours when that happens,
Yes, ma'am,
correct?
yeah.
Okay.
And there will be a wheeling fee paid by Saline Regional when that happens.
Again, you don't need anything.
Take it to council for approval for this month, so.
You don't need anything from us.
Just a recommendation to, council.
I would entertain a motion for a recommendation.
I'm not done reading yet.
Well, I kind of expressed in the past my opinion about the situation, so I'm a little hesitant. We talked about the possibility of us getting a little bit of a feedback for our, upkeep of our lines, since it comes through us, but we're just gonna leave it like this, is what. with
Yes,
nothing
ma'am,
but-
and we'll get a fee when it goes through Saline Regional, but at this point.
Until then.
Yeah, and there are rules with CAW of how much we could even charge, and trying to figure out the formula of that is.
And they wouldn't
it would
approve
not be-
anything to reimburse.
Did-
We can't make money off of them because it's not our water.
Did Woodland Hills pay for the line running down Raymore?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, back several years ago.
Right.
Yes.
Just making sure.
Oh, yeah, 120 or 1,260 feet of 8-inch water line. Yes.
I'll make a motion, we move forward on that.
Can we put some note in there about we want to look at that reimbursement whenever we move over to the Saline County?
It's already in our Saline Regional contracts that any water that we yield other customers is 25 cents per 1,000 gallons, per gallon.
Okay, we got a motion
Second.
and a second.
David, before we, finish the vote now.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
So, can I get somebody to make a motion to add number 8, and it'll be the water distribution and water billing presentation, please?
Well, I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Yeah, second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Can we get a better picture? That's kind of a, can we get a better picture?
I'll send it to you next time.
This is kind of,
I thought it was intestines.
I wasn't sure what it was.
Yeah, after you read the top, you realize that's water.
Well, to be honest with you, that looks better than this, when you see the whole hand.
I'll complain to the IT department about our printing.
Okay, come on, IT, tighten up.
So, last month I went over a whole bunch and said we'd be bringing you guys something every month, just as information and dive in a little bit more. So this month will be the water distribution and water billing. So the end goal obviously is the safe quality drinking water distributed to the customers we serve, right? So how do we get there? So there are steps to get there. I do want to touch, so the upgrade and replacing the aging infrastructure, obviously we have plans for that, like South Plain, some of the water connections, but we threw theft in there because we had, well, for several years, we didn't charge it, and it is a fee we do charge for theft or, that's the word I'm looking for. Tampering, thank you, tampering of the meter. So we have started charging that over the course of the last few years as Metron got put in and we're able to track things better. And we've had, it goes $100, $500, $1,000, and a ticket. So we've had very few instances with that, but they have come around. So I want to let you know if you do hear about them, we are charging that now. So if we go shut off your water and you turn it on, it's not only theft of service, but it's also tampering. Technically, you're not supposed to touch the meters at all because they're city infrastructure. We do understand if you have a leak in your house and you don't have a shut off, shut it off. We wouldn't, push it. But if you haven't paid for your water or your sewer and it's shut off, there's a reason.
Big
So-
difference between shutting off because you have a leak and turn it on because it's,
So I just want to point that out. They're few and far in between, but it seems like the last few months we've had one or two. And usually don't see them all that often. So, of course, minimizing the customer outages, that goes for, not only future plans, the infrastructure, leaks are inevitable. I mean, Price fixes them all the time. You'll probably never catch up with all of them, but they do a very good job. Knock on wood, very few leaks we have are outside of the service line. So, SCADA monitoring, just monitoring the levels of our tank. We also have them on our lift stations. Back T sample and collection, that's doing our test every month to make sure the E. coli, chlorine residual, and this and that is all up to. And they're at predetermined ports, so we test the same area. Installation and replacement of meter boxes. So it gets cold and meters can freeze. So what did we have this last bout?
We lost 19 meters this last week.
So something we can work on, resident can work on. Unfortunately, you can't stop them all. And it doesn't matter if you have a plastic or a brass meter. If there's not water going through it at a consistent rate, it's going to freeze and break. And then some of these boxes you get, there might be a low-lying pit or a low-lying area in the land or a subdivision that was built on what used to be a lake where it stays wet all the time and the box has got this much water in it, it becomes a giant ice cube around the meter. Not a whole lot you can do there. So, ensuring accurate reading for the meter and the count rates. Obviously the Metron system has helped with that phenomenally and I don't get any complaints. And if we do have an issue, contact Metron and it's usually solved in a day or two. Better news, Angela's department is going to get to a point here very soon, or we think very soon. The request has been made that they will not have to manually input all the Salem reads anymore. So it will automatically go up. Touched on it briefly. The water system is 24/7, so there's call-outs all the time. Some of them are confused. Might be water, might be sewer, might be stormwater, might be groundwater if you have a whole bunch of rain, but they think there's a leak. So we always have somebody on call. Bryce is always very well aware of what's going on. Like I said, he does have part of the system monitored, so he can say there was a giant main break. He'd see it in the things. 2 years ago, we had it freeze at the booster station, and it made it look like the tank was dropping, but it wasn't. So, and again, the end goal, the safe and quality drinking water distributed to the customers. Water billing. They answer calls and questions in a lot of them. And they do a very good job at not having to pass it off to field staff or the distribution department. They're very knowledgeable. I would say that the four working there right now function as one of the best teams I've ever seen. They're all very pleasant. The morale in the office is always very good. We get a lot of compliments, even from disgruntled customers, about how they were patient and handled it and explained it. Can't make everybody happy, but it's been very, very good. The amount of calls I used to receive to what actually make it to me now is probably 1%. So, assist the water distribution department with work orders, installing meters, turning on and off. They'll get sometimes, a request for a reread just in case. It's not that we trust our system very much, but there's nothing wrong with going out there and doing it for double check and make the customer feel. Rent hydrant meters and collect fees. The biggest pain in the butt with the hydrant meter is that they have to call us or send us a picture of the read on the hydrant meter when it's used, typically construction or development companies. So we're going to look into a way of incorporating the Metron system into those, so that way we don't have to call for a read, because believe me, Angela or Bryce will have to call to get the read most of the time. The other thing is, they go missing, whether they're in the back of a truck or they leave them on the hydrant. So we're looking into a way to GPS those so we'll know where they go. All those systems are available. I already touched on the manual anti-Salem water user reads, and then assist the customers with water scope. That's been probably one of the best things, and we actually just recently had some refresh training, and Metron sent us several links, updated links about how to use WaterScope, how the customer can use WaterScope. So now water billing has a few more tools and they're updated to push out. They do not hesitate from helping anybody sign up, and everybody we've had sign up might take a little bit to get them used to the graphs. Again, there's a ton of information up there, but once they're used to it, it seems to work really well. And I know several people who have contacted me who said, "Yep, thank God, because I had a pretty big leak." So, a little bit of fun facts. They take care of 9,309 meters. Obviously, we have sewer customers outside the city limits that do not have our water. Anything meter in our side is our responsibility. Anything past the meter is the customer's responsibility. Again, they deal with the customers directly every single day. They do a very good job at having positive attitudes and present themselves positively, which I'm very thankful for. And I kind of think that speaks to Bryce and Angela's leadership, that the morale in the departments is very good, even though, again, you don't hear all the good all the time. A lot of the time you just hear the bad. So, 27.9 miles of water line, 994 fire hydrants throughout the city. Bryce is in charge of maintaining and installing. We're replacing. New developments will install. Fire department goes and does their fire flows once a year, and they will also provide us with an inspection report, which helps. Some of the stuff on this next page, we've already talked about. The fire tie-in for the deficiencies is a near-term improvement. Some of that will be part of some other projects. Some of that will be done in-house with Bryce's guys. The South Pressure Plane Tank and Line project, we're actually currently in discussions with the school for the property we would like to acquire for that tank site. There was a workshop last night where Bryant was represented. It seemed to go pretty well. And then the 20th is the school board meeting. Depending how that goes, if we can get it on the agenda for our February council, we'll move forward. If not, it'll just be delayed a little bit. We can't start engineering until we acquire a site. So it's not put off or pushed off, but we have to go in steps. So even though we have an engineer, this and that right now, it's kind of conceptual layout until we have a site. North tank repairs and continued in-house upgrade. North tank repairs are just basic, clean it out, clean it up, get the sediment out of it, do the inspections. So we'll also be cleaning the south tank this year. Questions, comments? Anything to add? Aaron? Future water bill goals. Continue to provide excellent customer service. Again, I think that the team Angela has in there now is probably as close to the happiest people you can see. Days of shutoffs when they're just getting yelled at by people, they're still smiling, still having a good time. So, continue Tyler software transfer and upgrades, reads of manual reads. Yeah, sure. Again, that's the Salem meters. I should have mentioned this on Highway 5, but there's a group of meters on Highway 5 that we never transitioned over to the Metron system because we knew they were going to have to move, and they also have different setters. So that'll be incorporated in the Highway 5 movement. And then continue to find new and effective ways to communicate with our customer base. Water rate studies, which is promoted, and master plans that are heavily promoted, the surveys. Right now, we email out copies of the newsletter with email customers. We mail it out. There's information on the water bill that we have a little spot we can type some stuff in. I have since got rid of the Public Works page And we strictly just go through the city hall page. The city hall page creates a lot more, our Facebook page creates a lot more traffic than the Public Works Facebook page. So it touches way more customers. There's no point in duplicating it. And then Jordan is the communications woman with the city, and she does a great job, and I'm sure she'll help us find ways to reach out even more. And then again, you have Angela talking to everybody every day, and her 3 people, Bryce and their group, Mariah is part of all sorts of organizations that reach out to people also. So one way or another, we're trying to get the information out there the best we can. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good presentation. All right. That looks like the last thing on the agenda is Saline Regional Update.
We got both easements from Hot Spring County. We met with their county judge and Saline County judge to get the first 2 easements that we needed. Meeting went really well. They accepted it for exactly what we offered it as, which is exactly what we got the appraisal back at. So it was a really good meeting. He said any way they can help, let them, or any way that they can help us, they will. Kimsey's water manager was also there, and he said the same thing. They want to see the project happen, so they said anything they can do to help, let them know. So we are just continuing to try and go get easements. Chris is still putting those papers together, and we're sending them out as we can. Both the reservoir land and the treatment plant site were acquired. Those are finished and done, so that property is Saline Regional's now. And we're continuing to go down different funding avenues and see what kind of funding we can get. So next meeting is February 27th, 5 o'clock at the fire station. If anyone would like to come. Any questions?
That was 27th
Yes, sir.
at 5:30.
5.
5.
Right. Any other topics of discussion?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Got a motion? Got
I
a second?
second.
All in favor?
All right.
All right, we adjourn.